build a trading system that I could count on. And this one's based on the white line is a 1 period moving average, and the blue line is a 2 period moving average. And they're both simple because I'm simpleton, damn it. And it really is about the crossover, but I want to get in before the crossover, so I put in buy stops here to get in. On the 5-minute chart, we've already crossed over on the 30 back here, and there was this big smash. So if you're running limits and stop entry, you kind of had to, after the crossover right here that happened on this bar, you had to be running buy stops and buy limits and maybe buy at the market, because they slammed this all the way back to the edge here and they tried to stop you out, which I guess they stopped some people out if they had too tight of a stop there. And now that this is the pullback into the trend, the blue line is still pointing up, so you have to trade from the long side on the 30-minute. If you go to the 15, another thing is since it's a 2 period moving average, it's kind of like seeing the other time frames trend 2 times away, because it's smoothed out by 2. You can also see how trend systems get beat to death because of the whipsaw nature. And so if your bias is on the daily, we're still in a downtrend according to the 2 period, but we're just about to cross over here. So here was the pullback into the 2 period moving average. This is your chance to put sell stops in or just sell right at the 100 pip handle. I put a 10 pip and here's the 50. So we've been bobbing and weaving around the 50. And there was a sell on the 5-minute at the 50. Right here was the, so we're just kind of above and below this 50. Here was the breakout. Here's the pullback. So we're coming all the way back in deep now. So I want to catch a falling knife here on this pullback. Plus I have the buy stops riding above here for a possible blowout of the top here, and the time of day is 5 minutes before 11. So there's a real contention here, and the robots would have started selling right there on a sell stop here if you, presupposing robots going to see the crossover, he's going to put in stops, or maybe sells at the market at the crossover. But I actually want to get in before the crossover. So if I think it's going back up, just like these climaxes below, if you're scalping, you would be buying that as it just comes crashing back up. And here was the infamous pullback on the 15, where if you had sell stops and sell limits, you would have picked up the ride, and you already had your trend system on the. So it's basically the 15-minute is looking back to maybe the half hour. So this is right when you start to sell. If your sell stop stacking up, here was the last rally in it. So here was your sell. Here was your take profit or crossover, or you go stop and reverse. But this is about the only thing I could actually consider as far as a trend trading system is a 2 period moving average on top of, I put it in second, so the 1 period's crossing underneath the bridge. And it's that simple. And the thing is that if you're going to put the trailing buy stops here, anticipating a break of the thing, and you buy at the market hand the crossover also, but you're always, when the trend's in force here, it's not going to go on forever. So it's kind of like, well, when's that going to end? And if you're just going to stay in sell mode for the next half hour, an hour there, let that thing crush. As soon as it crosses over and goes choppy, you kind of have to go to limit order mode or range mode, thinking about the stops here that, like say you were placing stops here, well, you got trapped here, then they ripped you down. But here, this cupped area here, you don't get filled till here and you're long. And this is 10 pip grid here. And then this is the big 50. So we're below the 50 again, and we're kind of retesting this top right now. And then I'm looking to come up to here and eventually make it clear the treetops here. And of course, in the end, but it's just a matter of which train you're going to get on. And this kind of gives you like an idea which train to board looking for that setup on the time frame that fits the best fit. Here, you're just starting to cross over, so here's the pullback into the trend right now in the half hour. And that's my max zoom. Now this max zoom there. So, like this trend here, of course, when it gets fuzzy, when it gets all choppy like this, it's a range trader's dream. But this is a big, strong sell-off here. And now it's just a matter of waiting again, unfortunately. And here was a crossover in the 1 hour. And you could have sell stops. Here's a one more risky because you're about 20 pip bar candle here. This is a little less risky, but here's the double bottom happening below the moving average. And yeah, I'm just looking for this. And this is pretty violent here. And a lot of people took profits here, I'm sure. Like, who didn't, right? And they trap the bulls there, rip them back, punish them, you know, take them to the woodshed, and that's just how this thing is. So that's that's how they the moving. That's why the trend system can be. But I'm not going to wait for a crossover on the 3 period moving average because I simply don't have the patience for it.